Barcelona's, I would say, war or stance against Javier Tebas and La Liga. I did an earlier video talking about that on the channel. Go make sure to check it out. Talked a little bit more detail. And then as well, we're going to be talking about Barcelona's upcoming game in the Champions League against Borussia Dortmund. We're going to have a big game in the Champions League. We're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about Inigo returning. How important is he going to be in that match? And then we can talk a little bit more about Ansu Fati towards the end of the video. But Alvaro, how are you? How are you doing on this fine Monday night?
Very good, very good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastically well. Champions League coming up. I believe it's going to be Real Madrid versus Arsenal
Yeah,
tomorrow alongside.
and I think PSG's playing with us, right? On one side.
Let me check right here just to see the games. So tomorrow it's going to be Arsenal, Real Madrid, and Bayern
Mine,
versus
yeah,
Inter.
yeah.
Okay.
Those are two very good matches.
Absolutely huge matches. Sake, NJ, how are you guys? How are you guys doing on this fine Monday night? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just chilling, just doing my stuff and just working.
Okay, perfect. Sake, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm also good. By the
Oh,
way, it's Tuesday morning for me.
Tuesday morning, yes, because you're all the way on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, but it's absolutely crazy, the time difference in certain parts of the world. But Alvaro, getting started with the video and getting started with tonight's topic, I wasn't able to basically gauge your feeling and sensation after Barcelona's match against Real Betis, and I want to do that right now. How are you feeling
I'm not
after our
gonna
weekend?
lie. I'm gonna base most of my opinions from the rematch. I really wasn't able to see much of the game. I was working. Seriously,
$3 Raul Asensio. He called you like the budget Asensio.
me
Yeah.
is that a compliment, bro? I don't know.
And no,
I don't
no,
know.
You know
no.
that kid, bro.
He's the center back for Real Madrid.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know if it's a compliment or not, bro.
I mean, like the $3 budget version. I don't know.
I don't know.
You look like you look like him though. I'm gonna lie, with the beard and the haircut, you look exactly like him.
Okay,
Thank you, bro.
okay.
Yeah, let's hope so. We all think he's good looking. Um, nah, bro, but that game, I mean, I wasn't able to see that much about it, to be honest. I was working, but look, at the end of the day, we didn't drop 3 points, and Madrid dropping, losing to Valencia, in the current state that Valencia is in. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Um, again, I don't really got much thoughts of the game. I wasn't able to see much of it, but
Okay.
all I'm gonna say is we gain over Madrid. I'll take that point. Now we are a match and change clear of Madrid. So not even if they won next game and we lost, we still have a whole point ahead of them. So I guess that's all that matters. I was saying that this crazy stretch of games ends on Wednesday against Dortmund. It's been 5 games in however many days. It's been a lot for this team, and my hope was that Flick will find a way to stay undefeated. He has. Let's hope that he can finish that off against Dortmund. You can't ask much more. That Betis, I'm pretty sure, are the second best team in La Liga in the past. I think since
Yeah.
2025 started, they're the second best team in La Liga.
Yeah, Barcelona and Real Betis, both of them are
Yeah.
the two most
Yeah.
informed
So
teams. I believe from the last five matches, both of them have won all five. So
yeah.
so we
So
we we we're facing a very good Real Betis team.
yeah, I mean, bro, they have Anthony to go, so you can't
They do.
really. No,
They
but no,
do.
in all
He's huge.
seriousness, I mean, they're a tough rival. I'm pretty sure we won back in December against them, or we
No, we
draw.
drew. We
Drew.
We
drew,
drew.
but we
Exactly. Yeah,
beat them in the Copa del Rey.
yeah. We drew in December against them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would be more pissed if Madrid gained ground, but Madrid had a golden opportunity against Valencia and they couldn't capitalize.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, Barcelona's match against Real Betis, we've talked about on the channel, but I instead of viewing it as like 2 points lost, I view it as 1 point gained. I see this team, feeling a little bit exhausted, but looking ahead towards Wednesday, I do believe that Barcelona, they're going to be putting like everything behind them and just going to be going all out for that match. And I want to be talking about Barcelona's match against Borussia Dortmund because that's going to take up the majority of tonight's episode where we're going to be talking about it and everything. some boost for Barcelona is that Iñigo Martínez is going to be back. Now that's a positive. I think he was missed against Real Betis, not only for what he could do on the ball, but also he's very good in the air, and that's funny enough that's how we can see the goal. And in regards to Borussia Dortmund, they're going to be without Schlotterbeck, without
Yeah.
Gross, and I'm missing one, and Sabitzer. So
That's a big loss for them.
exactly, Sabitzer
And
is.
Inigo as well. As well, dang.
Adeyemi is going to be involved. So if you guys do remember, he
He's
wasn't
the only one.
involved. Yeah,
He's the only big threat that but if Kunde or and Baldi can slow him down, whatever position he plays, we should be good. To be honest.
okay. And I'm gonna go to you first, NJ. But how are you feeling about Barcelona's match on Wednesday? How do you see the game, panning out? Let's look at it from a very, like from bird's eye view, basically.
We should be able to win the first leg, but again, at that time I was thinking if they had Nico and the other midfielder, it would have been a close game because again, obviously we're still gonna win, but it won't be like like an easy game to win. But since they lost their two key players, and we should be able to win at least 3-1, at least 3-1,
3-1, 3-1.
at
Okay.
least. Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking at basically a Barcelona going crazy with their goal scoring form, and I sort of agree with you. I see a very confident Barcelona team, and it's okay. I want to go to you, but how do you see the game unfolding? Do you think it's going to be an end-to-end game? Do you see Borussia Dortmund setting up defensively or anything? Because they're doing really well in what's it called, in these past couple of games. They've been picking up some other form and
Yeah, they're
everything.
good. They're good at the Champions League, but they're bad at Bundesliga. That's the difference between them.
Yeah, in the Champions League, they were really good. When you look at actually their form, I believe they've won
It's weird.
7 matches. And
It's
hold
weird.
on.
It's weird that they play so good in Bundesliga. I mean, in the Champions League, but they're so bad at Bundesliga. I don't know. I don't know. They've been
Hold
trash,
on.
bro, in the Bundesliga. To be
Okay,
honest.
okay. But Sisika, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with NG. We have to at least win by 2 goal difference in this. In the first leg because it is at our home. You never know. What will happen at their ground because the crowd and their yellow wall and all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So
Stick
you
there.
have to get a lead. At least you have to win by, as NG said, 3-1 margin because you need a 2 goal buffer in order to because I think maybe in the second leg now Pascal Gross and Schlotterbeck, all these players with they have like most of the assist for their team and they will be available in the next leg.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
even Karim Adeyemi will be a big factor because he wasn't
for sure,
as
for
we
sure.
said available in the first time so it will be,
And
I
their
think,
goalkeeper.
yeah, they got an outlet this time in terms of Karim Adeyemi, but the one who is supposed to, give him balls, shorter back, he's very good at, all the,
Yeah, he's really
balls
good.
like
He's really, really
Kubarsis.
good.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's, I don't know. So, I think of course, they will score at least 1 goal on us. So, we need to score 3.
Well,
You already know that we're gonna score one goal from us. You already know.
yeah,
Yeah,
You
I
can
mean,
see
no,
that.
I definitely see that bit like
I,
happening. I definitely see Barcelona conceding, but I see
yeah,
Barcelona, scoring 3-4. I see a big score like the way like this Barcelona team has been going.
Yeah, it could happen though. It could happen, but again, depends of how Kobo plays as well. If he goes prime Neuer or not, then
No,
yeah.
no, that always sounds worse. But Alvaro, how are you looking at Barcelona's match against Borussia Dortmund?
I
What do you think about
mean,
that match?
yeah, I agree with Segeb and NJ. They should be good to go, especially with the injuries that Dortmund has and the players that won't be on the pitch. Um, I think 3-1 is a pretty good score.
Three one.
Four every time that I get conservative with the score, they score 4 or 5 goals, but we just need a win.
Yeah.
I think 3-1's fair. This is we have
just
probably the
one thing, don't win like with a scoreboard of 3-0 because
yeah.
in the history it's very
Yeah, for
it's
real.
very difficult for
For
Uh,
example, I will be. in my opinion, I'll be more concerned about facing Aston Villa, for example, and Dortmund.
Oh, they're really good.
So, I mean, with that being said, I'm not that. I mean, maybe that's a bad thing, but I'm not as concerned against Dortmund this first time around. So, I think 3-1
Okay.
score.
Okay, okay. Alex, good to see you. Looking at the game against Borussia Dortmund, how big of a scoreline or like what type of result do you think that Barca are going to need in that match? Because the first leg is going to be in our home stadium, and let's say if Barcelona they have like a one goal lead or anything, or let's say we draw. Let's hopefully that doesn't happen. Do you think that Barcelona they're going to have enough to go into that second leg in Germany and basically have a repeat of what we did in the first leg and get the victory, or do you think like saying, hey, Barcelona they have to get like a big advantage in the first leg?
So I think that there's an infinite amount of numbers that we can count on, and we have a player called Ferran Torres. So, given those two things, I think any scoreline is possible. No, but for real, I think it's gonna be a hard match. Borussia Dortmund are a very inconsistent team, so you never know what Dortmund you're gonna get. From what I've seen in the Bundesliga, they've been poor this season. However, the Champions League is a different beast,
Yeah.
and there's always a chance that they show up. But realistically, Dortmund is not. I know it's an important game. I'm not too worried about it though. The team's been tired, and that's why I would say the team didn't play as good as they did against Betis on Saturday. But with that being said, they've had a couple days of rest. And I think they'll be good, man. Dortmund has a very weak defense. They'll be conceding a lot of chances for sure. We just gotta make sure to capitalize on them because they are very good on the counter, and Guarassi's just been phenomenal this season.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, it's a couple of things, but I'm not too worried. I think we can easily get a 3-0, a 3-1 score line. I wouldn't put that as something unlikely. I think it's very much doable.
Okay, okay. Christopher, welcome. Good to see you again. How are you feeling ahead of Barcelona's match against Borussia Dortmund? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling nervous? How do you see the game developing?
First things first, can you guys hear me?
Yes, everything's perfect.
All right, cool. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of feeling a little nervous.
Okay, okay. How come?
The only reason why I'm kind of feeling a little nervous about this game is we played against Real Betis. I think was it two, yeah, was it 3 days ago that we played?
Yeah, it was this weekend. It was this past weekend.
Yeah, it was this week. So performance-wise was kind of a little solid, but I just kind of believe that there was some stuff that Barca needs to fix. Against Dortmund, I get what the guy is saying that yeah, in the German league, yeah, Dortmund is kind of weak, but Champions League it can be a bit different. But the thing is that I believe Dortmund has an advantage in a way where okay, you know what, this is what we can do. Um, some of the players are still tired; they're kind of still fatigued. Um, but at the same time, we still have to put our trust in the players. I want Barca to prove me wrong that they can beat Dortmund or they can come away with a point, at least maybe 2 goals or something. But I just kind of believe that Dortmund has a way of if they can capitalize, if they can find a chance to find a weak point, what Barca is missing in some ways. Because look, the
Okay.
players are gonna the players are gonna give their best, but I don't know. Is something is just telling me that it might be a tie game, or Dortmund can come away with a win, which I don't want them to. But I want
Okay.
Barca. I want Barca. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just want Barca to prove me wrong. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, looking at Borussia Dortmund, they are a team that at times can be this world beater, but at the same time, the next day they can just lose like the last place team in the Bundesliga. They are
Mm,
sometimes erratic in that sense, unpredictable. But I feel confident in this Barcelona team. Obviously, we in this past game, we didn't show our best level, but don't think that the performance was necessarily bad. I just think that our efficiency in front of goal was a little bit lacking, and if I'm looking at that maybe and thinking, hey, if Barcelona play that game 10 times, maybe 8 or 9 times, they get the win, and it's just unfortunate that it wasn't the day for Barcelona. And looking at the overall lineup, I'm gonna go to
Yeah,
you,
I
Alvaro.
you know I agree with him because I am also feeling little bit nervous because when our slump started, when our first slump started before Christmas, this was the same type of game that we started playing. Like we played against Real Betis, this week, because weren't finishing our stances. That's how it started, and it continued for two or more, three, 3 or 4 or more games, and that's how we dropped point, and we had a 10 points lead, and we end up giving up all those points.
Okay. Okay. Avdo, what type of lineup are you expecting against Borussia Dortmund? Because I see Barcelona's strongest possible lineup, and there's only maybe two areas of contention, but mostly one area of contention, and that's going to be the number 10 position, which I can say, hey, Hansi Flick, he can maybe, have a decision on who to play or who to not. But how do you see the lineup against Borussia Dortmund?
Just to make sure, from Saturday there weren't any injuries, because again I was
No,
able to see the game. No, right?
no.
Before I say that, I like Van Lee's comment earlier up. It says that Flick knows German teams inside out. That's not wrong, and that's one reason why I'm not that worried. Because again, up until last year, he was out of coaching. He was just observing and looking at how other teams operate, and he has been around German football for a long, long time. So that's the reason why I'm not that worried. Um, but yeah, for the starting 11, definitely Chesney at goal. Balde, I would say Inigo, Garcia, and Conde. I really I really want to get to the point that we have Araujo starting, because I think he has all the qualities to be the best center back in the world.
Okay.
Then the midfield, I think Frankie, Pedri, and then up top. Just to make sure, we still don't have anything on Dani Olmo.
Dani Olmo,
Second
right?
leg.
Yeah, right now the goal is for him to be fit for the second leg, but it's a
Yeah,
doubt. He's not
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
involved today, so it's either going to be
So
Gavi or Fermin Lopez, and that's where I
yeah,
wanted to bring this
I
discussion.
would
Who would you play there?
I would say for me, because again, I've always said this, I really like Gavi's intensity off the bench late in game if needed. I really, really like him coming off as explosive as he is.
Mhm.
So I would say the midfield would be Pedri, Frankie, and Fermin. And then up top, Rafinha, Lamine, and Lewa.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
And NJ, I want to go to you. Who would you start in that number 10 position? Because
It's the
Van
same
Lee, he
thing.
says, this is a great game to play for Armin, and I completely agree. When you look at, for example, Barcelona's game against Bayern Munich, Hansi Flick, he started very aggressively. He had Fermin there. He had, basically Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and Lewandowski, and we saw how that game went. Obviously, the way that Gavi is playing, I think he also is a shout there. But I'm just thinking, hey, if Barcelona, they want to take the initiative, if they want to take that big lead, to Germany, then I think Ferdinand could be an option. But at the same time, you're looking at saying, hey, Gavi's been performing really well. Fermi, he could be very good as a super sub. What do you think?
Yeah, like me, start Firmino because he's really good when it comes to like against like weaker center back. So I would like to have Firmino start because so he can like give a lot of threats to the opponent because again the center back's gonna be what Emre Can and what who else Niklas Sule. Oh,
I thought that there were even some reports that Nico
Siloe
Sule
is
will.
also injured.
Yeah, he's not involved. Yeah, so
who
so
who
Sule.
also he's also injured as well.
Yeah, so when you're looking at the injuries, so Ben Sabeni injured, Sule injured, Slotterback
mm.
injured, Sabitzer injured, Campbell knock, and Marco Gross suspended. So Borussia
Okay,
Dortmund, they have lots of they've been hit hard with injuries. So you're
who
gonna have a lot of key players being out.
Oh, it's only gonna be Emre Can and someone else. They're gonna be the center back. Then yeah, play for me to like take advantage of the open space in the back. Because again, Emre Can, even though Emre Can is a decent player, the problem is he's not the same as back then. Where like he is fast now. He's more like reserved. He's more like a below average player now. So yeah, starting for me would make sense more. To like if you want to like take advantage of the goal tally of it. Yeah, it makes
Okay.
sense that you start for me.
Okay, okay. Christopher, I want to go to you for this topic, but Inigo Martinez is returning. I personally thought that Inigo Martinez, he was a miss in Barcelona's game against Real Betis, not only for what he could do defensively, he's absolutely fantastic in the air. I was looking at some stats and saying, hey, he has more clearances than both like Pau Cuarci and Ron Rajo, and on top of that, he's great on the ball, able to surpass the pressure and everything. How important do you think he's going to be in this game, coming back? Because genuinely, the Inigo Martinez and Pau Garcia have been phenomenal. And looking at how good, Girassi has been in the Champions League, it's going to be a big test for him.
I'll tell you this. When I look at Martin, he's kind of like Sergio Ramos in a way, but not like Sergio Ramos, if you understand. Because the thing is, he kind of shows that leadership quality. He communicates very well with. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, so he kind of shows that leadership quality, and what else? He shows that leadership and the communication with Kobasi. He tells his players what to do. He's gonna be. So he's a big role. He's a big important player for Barca. But the thing is, I don't know if I'm wrong, but doesn't he has an injury that he's dealing with right now? Or
he picked up a small little knock, yes, and he didn't play in midweek, but he's going to be in the squad and he's going to start on Wednesday. Like that was the reason why he didn't play in the weekend. It's so he was going to be ready for Barca's UCL match. That's why.
Yeah. So he is basically that defender that Barca needs. Don't get me wrong, Ronald Araujo, he's also good, one of the best, CBs. But the thing is, I just kind of believe Ronald Araujo should be a little bit more aggressive because the goal that Real Betis equalized in, I said to myself when I was watching the highlights, I was saying to myself, why did he duck down instead of, well, he didn't duck down, but
he was really proactive in that, and like trying to block the header. And so I asked you, is the center back partnership for Wednesday Iñigo Martínez and Pau Garcia, or do you play Araujo?
I'll play Kobasi and Martinez.
Garcia Martinez.
It makes sense though, because again, we really don't need Araujo for this. Because again, we need him more for Inter. To be honest, because again, their striker in Dortmund is not even that good, bro. He's okay, but he's not that world beater of a striker. So we don't really need Araujo to play that much of minutes in this cup time. Rather, we need him more against Inter.
Okay. And I agree with a lot of your guys' statements. I think that we're going to be seeing a very confident Barcelona team. This Barcelona team in fantastic form. We're gonna hopefully we see a great Rafinha. Rafinha has been absolutely fantastic in the Champions League with all the injuries and Borussia Dortmund they are expecting. I think this is a game that Robert Lewandowski he can shine. Sule, Slotterbeck, they're not going to be there. Sabitzer. I think this could be an opportunity for Lewandowski to have a great game, and so hopefully on Wednesday we're able to enjoy and come back here with a very happy attitude. But switching to the topics, I want to be talking about Ansu Fati because I don't know if you guys seen
I want to talk about So I think it will be very confusing who to pick as a number 10 between Fermin and Gavi because in the last game I think Gavi played 90 minutes, but also he was the man of the match of that game. He played the game entirely well. So, but he will be tired, in order to start this game. So maybe Fermin will start. And in terms of Araujo and Inigo Martinez, I think there is a valid reason to start Araujo instead of Kubarsi because Gurasi is a top striker and I think he may be the top scorer of UCL. So you need a physical presence in the box, but also I think in straight two games, Araujo considered a mistake that ended up going as a goal for us. So I don't know who to start really, but I will probably go with I think Kubarsi because if Inigo is there, he can cover for Kubarsi physically.
Okay, so very solid. Avdo, I want to go to you and I want to ask you about Ansu Fati because news emerged about Ansu Fati and the latest is that Ansu Fati feeling sad about his situation, not being able to play and everything. We all knew this, we understood, saying, hey, Ansu Fati, if you're gonna stay, you're not gonna be getting minutes. And what happened? He's not getting any minutes. And this is the first time that we've been seeing reports that he is open to an exit to leave the club. And obviously we wanted him to succeed, but it's most likely that he's going to be leaving at the end of the summer. How do you see this situation unfolding?
What's the market
Real
value on Fati right
quick,
now?
sorry, before Alvaro. Wait, guys,
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
go, Alex.
Before Alvaro answers, I just wanted to say, I had a crazy idea. What if for the defense against Dortmund, because Conde has been playing, I think 100 games in a row without, well, he's played in
Yes.
100 games, right? So,
Yeah,
I had an
yeah,
idea
crazy.
of yeah, I had an idea of making the center backs Inigo and Cubarsí, and then for right back putting Araujo. I don't know if
That could
that's
work.
something Barcelona.
That could
That's
work.
something Barcelona has done against Madrid for Vinicius because we know Araujo can match his pace more than the other center backs, and he's very physical. I know it's not ideal because Conde is great on the ball, much better than Araujo, and he's even become sort of a threat going forward. We definitely saw it against Betis. He got a couple chances. It was a shame he couldn't convert, but he's there, and we've seen him score goals this season. So I think the real thing is, you just give him a rest, give him a game where he can just get some rest, be fresh, and yeah, and then for the midfield, I would say Pedri and De Jong have to start, and then I would definitely put Fermin. I think he's earned it. I think Fermin has been better than Gavi. I know they've both, been fighting for minutes, but when I have seen Fermin, I've liked it a lot more better than when I've seen Gavi. And then up top, the three that we have, and I don't think the loss on Sunday. I don't know if I said this before, but I don't think the loss on Sunday meant anything. Not the loss, the tie. But even the best teams in treble season, you're not gonna get the best performances every game. So I'm,
Okay.
I'm not worried about the game, man. I think this lineup that I offer with the Araujo, it could be some food for thought. But I know Flick isn't gonna do that, but it could be an alternative to that.
No, it's an option. Like if Barcelona, they are cruising in the game, that could be a very good option because Jules Koundé, he's been playing a lot of minutes, and I do agree that he does need some rest, and we know how little trust he has in Hector Ford, which is surprising. But Ron
Oh,
Araujo is always an
he's too
option to
young
rest
though.
him.
He's too young. That's why
I
he doesn't really trust him yet.
No,
Yet.
I mean I agree, but like last season, he's Xavi played him in a lot of games, and you saw a very
Yeah.
good Hector Ford, and so like
Yeah. Yeah.
the difference is
But
we never saw
mhm.
anything bad from Hector Ford to necessarily say, hey, he isn't warranted to have some minutes. J.J. Martin plays, and he hasn't been spectacular.
But again, but yeah, that was Chabi though. But this is Flick though. He wants his right backs to be more aggressive. Hector Fort's not really aggressive. He's more like like a Gerard Martin with better technique,
Okay, okay,
more defense than attacking. So that's
hmm
why he can't have two fullbacks who are both defensive.
okay, okay. Well,
I
but
wanted
Alvaro,
to say, Elias. So
yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Alex,
Real quick before I know you asked Alvaro about Fati leaving in the summer.
yeah,
Um, I do think it's a shame that Flick hasn't given Fati a chance. I understand, there's stuff that we don't see at training and we don't really know how the team works. We can only speculate, but I definitely think that Fati is a player that Flick should put, in some of these easier matches. Like I would have loved personally to see him play against Betis because he's an actual left winger, and we don't have any of those in the team other than maybe Ferran. And he used to be special. He used to remind me a lot of Lamine Yamal. I mean, more offensive, but I think it's a shame they haven't given him minutes this season for whatever reason that may be.
okay.
That's
Well, I mean, the conversation about Ansu Fati, it's basically been Ansu Fati at training, he's not giving his 100%. That's been the whole narrative.
nah, that's a lie, bro. That's a
No,
lie.
but like I'm saying like that was the narrative in regards to that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and, and in regards to his actual form, we don't know because we haven't seen him when he has been available. In the limited minutes, he hasn't been impressive, and so it's understandable for me why Hansi Flick isn't playing him. But at the same time, it's just like if there's this player and he is one of our options in the attack, he is not involved ever, and so obviously there could be some confusion in that, and so I go to you because I was wanting to ask you the question, but how do you see the whole Ansu Fati situation developing?
Well, I'm asking you the same question. What's his market value around right now?
Right
Probably
now
like
it's like 5 million around there.
Whoa.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Um,
low.
I'll take 5 million, bro. Again, like that's one of those situations that you kind of like saw them involving the, like this. I never really I forgot who was talking before the season started saying over under Ansu Fati 10 goal and assist contributions, and I said hard under.
Not the
Not,
nah, not
not,
Valley, nah, nah.
not only because of Hansi Flick's different playing style, but also because it's just he came as depth, and thankfully our offense has not been too injury prone the entire season. Um, he just hasn't gotten the chance. I feel bad for him because maybe he's working his ass off in training and begging for minutes. At least I expected it to turn out like this. I never really thought him as a realistic like super sub or anything. And at this point, I'm just looking for the 5 million, man. I'm hoping they can go to another team, another league, maybe Saudi Arabia, and
No, no, no. Why Saudi Arabia, bro? Why?
I mean, bro, at this point in his career, he's not. He failed in the Premier League. He hasn't got anything in Barca. I would love to see him in La Liga, maybe in a worse team.
Hold on,
Or
Albie.
but
Oh
someone
no,
like
but
him,
I
he
wanted
could
to ask Alvaro though.
he could very well go and make some more money in Saudi Arabia.
I wanted to ask Alvaro though, what's different about Ansu Fati from what we were saying about Rafinha or Ferran last season? Because I was very for
No,
Barca
no,
selling
no,
Rafinha.
no,
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 but
no,
hold on,
no.
hold on,
But
hold on, hold on. But let me tell
No,
you what I'm saying. I was for Barca selling Rafinha, and he's given us a Ballon d'Or season.
okay, wait,
I was
Alex.
for okay, but even weeks ago, right? Even weeks ago, I was for them getting rid of Ferran Torres, and look how he's playing now. Now it seems that he's always going to score when he comes off the bench. I just don't think Flick has given Ansu Fati enough of an opportunity.
I think at this point it's more mental for Ansu Fati and lack of confidence. Maybe that lack of confidence is due to the lack of playing time. But that's a player that was given multiple chances in the Premier League. He was given multiple chances at Barcelona before this chance. You can't tell me, oh, like what if he becomes to Rafinha? Rafinha's season last year maybe gave you a little bit of hope for this year. You can compare Ansu Fati right now to Rafinha last year. You can, and Ferran Torres at the start of the season when people were saying to sell him, he still has some value to the team. He was still doing something under Hansi Flick's style. Ansu Fati hasn't shown anything at all, and whether it's because he hasn't gotten the chances or for whatever other reason, I can't compare him to Ferran Torres or Rafinha. I can't.
Okay.
I'm still a believer. I'm still an Ansu Fati believer. And when he comes back and we have a proper left winger and we don't have to buy Nico Williams,
All right,
I'm gonna be here.
all
I'm gonna
right,
be here
buddy.
for it. No, I'm gonna
All
be
right,
here for
buddy.
it. So when Ansu Fati, I'm gonna remember who was talking shit about Ansu Fati. But
Yeah,
when my glorious
please.
king comes,
I will
listen.
My
gladly,
glorious
I will
king.
When my
gladly eat
glorious
my
king
words.
comes back, no.
I
When my
will
glorious
happily
king
eat
comes
my
back,
words if he does what Rafinha is doing. I will
I
happily eat
better
my
not hear
words.
you praise him. I better not hear any
Ansu
praise for
Fati
Fati.
believer in big 2025.
Yeah, Ansu Fati believer.
Lamine
uh,
Yamal said that, by the way. That was Lamine Yamal saying that.
yeah, Lamine Yamal. So Sake, what do you make of this whole Ansu Fati lack of playing minutes? What do you make of this?
I'm just tired of this issue. He was told by Flick and his staff beforehand. When season began that he is not in his plans. If manager is telling you that he is not in his plans, then you can't really complain about not getting any minutes, because and even if you are not getting minutes, it has to do with you in the end, because if you are not able to impress a manager for entirety of the season in trainings. Even Gavi came back from ACL injury and he's starting. He has impressed the manager. Look at his intensity and all these things. Even after all the he has had like a biggest injury in our squad, Gavi and Bernal at this point. So and Ansu Fati, if he isn't able to impress the manager to get any minutes, then I don't have really I don't really have any sympathy for him. But maybe if it's not like we are not competing. We are competing for all three trophies, so we don't really have any minutes to give away, because you need to win every game from, especially from this point onwards.
Okay. Christopher, thoughts?
You know, look, I really like I've watched Ansu play, and it's the business of football, and it's the lifestyle of a manager, and if he has you in his plans or not. But the thing is, the only way that he can play is
if Barca clinches or receives the La Liga, and if they have like maybe one more, two more games to play,
Wow.
probably Hansi Flick will give him a chance, or Fati has to pray that technically one of the players have to get injured or two players have to get injured, which has to be Lamine Yamal, either Ferran Torres or Lewandowski or something like that. And then hopefully you just got to hope that, okay, you know what, coach, you gotta give me a chance, even though these two players are injured.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen, right? So um, that's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, and that's like pretty sad in regards to like the Ansu Fati, because we've seen Dani Olmo playing the nine, we've seen Paulo Torre, and Paul Victor, for example, come on before Ansu Fati, and these are players who Hansi Flick he has praising words for, and if Hansi Flick liked both of these players and they're receiving this little minutes, then what does that say for an Ansu Fati that is necessarily not
Also,
impressing him in training?
I mean, he's not that bad of a
also
player. He just needs some like confidence in himself, and also because again, he was told that what, you're not part of my plan this season. Like you need to find something to regain your confidence, which he didn't want to accept it, and now he's paying for this decision. But again, him going to Brighton was the biggest mistake. Because again, his body and his playstyle does not suit the Premier League. I watched the bro. His playstyle does not suit Brighton. But even if he's better than the players there, he did not fit in Brighton. So yeah,
Yeah,
Question:
he's
How
I
many
playing.
agree.
question? How many goals did he score in Brighton on loan when he went
It's like
there?
I don't know, like five or
I
two,
think five or
close to
Oh,
six
five,
goals.
something like
yeah.
that.
So hold on. No, I'll
He
look at
barely
that.
played. He barely played. That's not because he got hurt. Because it was too much. It's too much. Uh, what do you call this? It's too much for him. Like he couldn't catch up with the speed and the physicality of the Prem.
In 27 games, he scored 4 goals.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he scored 4 goals. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then he barely played as well because he got injured as well in the Prem. So
Mm-hmm.
he should have went to like either Ajax or Italian league or the Portuguese league that time to like regain his form, which he didn't do it because again, he wanted to go to Prem. Look what happened. He suffered more of injury because of the demand of the league. Now
Yeah.
he's suffering. Even though he was told to go to another La Liga team just for 6 month loan to like regain his form, he didn't want to do it. So now he can't really complain. But overall, he's a good player if he was fit in on form. Yeah, he would have been at the value for the team. But nah, but in reality, it didn't happen.
And
So it
and
is what
and
it
how
is.
and how old is he again?
24,
He, no, he's
32.
he's 22, I believe. 22, 23, around
Oh,
there.
he has time. He has
It,
time.
Yeah,
He has
he has
time.
okay,
plenty of time.
okay. What do you guys think of this? If he's not getting playing time
22.
on Barca, what does he? Okay, why don't he go back to Barca B for at least one season just to?
He can't. He can't.
Uh,
No, he can't
I
because he's
Either
old.
either
He's too
way,
old.
a player like that wouldn't accept it himself. He wouldn't accept it.
Yeah,
yeah.
because
I
again,
guarantee
he's
it.
too old. He's too old for that though. He can't play for the
That would be a
Barca B.
No,
huge
no,
Honestly,
no,
blow.
if
no,
he
no, no,
isn't
no. No, I'm
accepting
saying like his
if he,
ego wouldn't allow him. I know it wouldn't.
Mm,
yeah, because
No,
he isn't
nothing, nothing,
accepting another loan,
nothing.
he ain't
Even if his
going to
ego,
Barca B.
even if he's like he humbled himself, he's not gonna be able to play for Barca because he's too old. He's not
mm,
eligible to play because 2021 is the max to play in Barca B. He's 22 or turning 23, so he's the only option is to go to another La Liga team or another league just for like a 6 month or a year loan to like regain his form and going scoring prowess and bring his value up. That's the best
yeah,
thing he can do. There's no shame that they didn't make it at Barcelona because again he only won like one or two trophies with us. So for him to try another league just to like gain another confidence, goal scoring and another trophy will be a good career for him. Like he's not bad at play. He's good enough to play for us. He said that right now he doesn't suit the plan of Flick's system because again. A lot of Barca players I grew up watching, Tiki Taka, but this is different now. This is Flick's
yeah.
ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. But guys, any final thoughts before we round off the episode? Either in regards to Barcelona's game in midweek, on Safati, any final thoughts in order to close off the episode?
Sure, I'll go first. You know what? Just do their job. Wednesday. Then not like obviously there's gonna be a lot of mistakes. Some mistakes, but not like major mistakes. But as long as they're able to like hold it up and finish their chances, we should be good and we should be all right moving. Because again, I told you many times, right, in the live podcast, like uh, I'll be mad if we lose this tie. Right? Many times I told you this many times. Like we have to be, set a semi-final minimum, at least semi-final minimum to have a good season this year. But we cannot lose this. Like I refuse to accept. I don't care. We have to win. We have to
Yeah.
win this. We have to win this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. But all right, guys, that was it for the episode. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy. This will be on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. I will be uploading it onto that if you guys do prefer to listen on those platforms. Guys, thank you all for joining, for giving your thoughts, comments. I'll be back tomorrow with some more match reaction. And also, there's some very, very other exciting UCL games, guys. It's going to be Real Madrid, Arsenal, and Bayern Munich versus Inter. Very, very exciting games. I'll be trying to watch that as well. And then on Wednesday, we'll obviously have the big Barca game to discuss.
If you have to watch one game between today's fixtures, which one are you watching?
Inter. I'm watching Inter.
I'm
Bayern.
going Inter. I'm going Inter Bayern. I think that Arsenal Real Madrid is just going to be pure haram ball. It's
I'm
literally going to
for
be.
that.
That's exactly where I want to see that game.
Yeah, it's going to be Mikel
Yeah,
Merino
you know,
playing
it's
as the number 9.
I was going to watch Inter and Bayern, but Musiala and all these players are injured, so I might go for the hit watch.
Okay.
For me, I think I'm just gonna skip the Tuesday games and just go straight to
Wow.
He's locked in, bro.
Yeah, he's locked in. He's locked
I
in.
don't know. I'm locked in, but I'll say this before you guys go. Look, like I said, I'm gonna stick to my words for the Dortmund game. But the thing is, Barca has so many games in between, so close. Even against Madrid. Well, I think we're gonna be facing Madrid twice in a row. So
Probably 3 times, probably.
yeah, three times probably, depending. But to be honest with you, guys, the way I'm looking at it, I know you guys are gonna hate me for this. I just kind of think that it needs to be, like I said, it's going to be one game at a time. But the way our schedule is
you're right.
compared to the other people, to the other teams, it's not going to be that easy for Barca. And I hate to break it to you,
That's fine.
If we play a tie game or if we lose a game, I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
agree.
No, I mean, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I
You
completely
just have to
agree.
overcome
Yeah.
it. You just have to overcome everything. You just have to overcome it. Who cares if you play bad football at this point of the
I'm just
season?
saying
Who
that
cares?
because look, if it wasn't for the the passing of the doctor on the medical team on the team, I think Barca will not be in this situation.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my
Okay.
thing.
But again, it is what it is. We just have to overcome it. That's all. We just have to
Yeah,
overcome all
precisely.
Who cares if you play good football or shit football? Who cares at this point?
Absolutely.
Who cares?
But guys, as I said, thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys all in the next episode.
All right,
Peace
ciao.
out, guys.
Wow.